I'm Timothy Malcolm, filling in for Tracy Baxter, and this is Record Newswatch. And first today, a Warwick man was killed as the main target of an irate shooter Friday morning outside the Empire State Building in Manhattan. 41-year-old Stephen Ercolino, vice president of sales with Hazen Imports, was targeted by 58-year-old Jeffrey Johnson, a designer who was laid off by the women's accessory company who has office space in the Empire State Building, according to Associated Press reports. Johnson shot Ercolino 3 times in the head, then found himself in a showdown with New York City police. Johnson was killed by police gunfire, but 9 other pedestrians around the area were also injured by bullet. The victims were treated with non-life-threatening injuries. We'll have much more on Stephen Ercolino, plus local reaction today at recordonline.com and Saturday in the Times-Herald Record. The NAACP will file a civil rights lawsuit against the Newburgh School District. This was announced at an NAACP conference Thursday night at Newburgh City Hall. According to Hudson Valley NAACP Regional Director Wilbur Aldridge, the suit alleges unfair treatment toward African American and minority students.
My recommendation to the state office and to Hazel and to the national legal was that we sue the city of Newburgh School District. They have certainly not complied with the 1974 decree, so therefore they should be made, the court needs to put in place an additional decree so that they will be mandated to make some changes.
The NAACP said they met with Newburgh school officials in the wake of the Times-Herald Record's investigation into Newburgh Free Academy's boys basketball team, and they found both leadership and cultural obstacles facing students.
I told them because there's such a discrepancy in the number of African-American teachers, African-American administrators, African-American anybody, anywhere, that we felt that they certainly need to do cultural competence training so that people would be aware of different cultures.
The NAACP said they were denied appropriate access to Newburgh schools, which combined with failures they perceived in the treatment of minority students led them to filing the lawsuit. Police are investigating a stabbing that took place Thursday afternoon in Middletown. It happened at 98 Wisner Avenue in the city. The victim was transported for treatment, but no further information yet on the victim's status. A proposed 45% increase in tolls for big rigs and other trucks has trucking industry supporters voicing their displeasure to the New York State Thruway Authority. The increase would come for trucks with 3 or more axles and could be set in motion by September 30th. The Thruway Authority is accepting comments via email through the close of business today. Already more than 1,200 comments have been received in public hearings. Currently, a Class 3H vehicle, that's 3 axles and a height over 7'6", traveling from Newburgh to downtown Albany pays $13.15 in cash tolls. Under the proposed hike, that 3H truck would have to pay just over $19 in cash tolls. One of the treasures of the Hudson Valley is the apple bounty that it provides, but this year it might be a smaller bushel than usual. The apple season began 2 weeks early this year thanks to a warmer March, but an April frost means fewer quantities of the doctor's little helper. Specifically in Ulster County is where you might find fewer apples, as its lower elevated orchards were most affected by the spring frost. Overall, production of the apple is predicted to be 50% less statewide. Another sign of fall is college move-ins, and we were in SUNY New Paltz Thursday as students new and returning came back to school. Parents fitted new sheets and wiped away the tears as children began a new period away from home. Meanwhile, students in New Paltz are deciding more and more to live off campus, meaning a good market for landlords across the village and town and some trepidation from nearby residents. We'll have more on the potential traffic, noise, and lifestyle issues in tomorrow's Times-Herald Record. It's now hurricane season across the Atlantic, and one storm is catching the eyes of meteorologists. Isaac has made his way into the Caribbean, and while he may not cause much of a storm up in the Hudson Valley, emergency management officials want residents to have regular storm plans in place. That includes an emergency kit, dry food, water, and medicine. Isaac is predicted by weather forecasters to touch down around the Mississippi-Alabama border, with some storm projections having it flying around Tampa, the site of next week's Republican National Convention. Currently, Isaac is a tropical storm with the possibility of a hurricane still looming. Of course, Isaac comes nearly 1 year after the Hudson Valley was rocked by Hurricane Irene. The storm caused numerous floods and power outages and destroyed parts of many towns, from Warwick to Windham. Sunday, we will have an extensive look back at Irene, plus a look at damage still in sight 1 year after Irene left the region.
Just lost everything. There's nothing you can do here. Just a bunch of garbage. Been a year, and it's still garbage.
Our Irene 1 year ahead coverage, which is 3 days long, kicks off Sunday in the Times-Herald Record and at recordonline.com. And coming tomorrow in the Times-Herald Record is our annual Section 9 football preview. Get 24 pages of breakdowns, features, schedules, predictions, and more on our local football teams in the Times-Herald Record and on varsity845.com. It looks like a completely pleasant late summer weekend on tap in the Hudson Valley and Catskills. Tomorrow will be sunny with some clouds, but not too hot. Temperatures staying in the low 80s. And more of the same on Sunday, with mostly sunny skies and temps staying around 82. For more news and information, including more on the Empire State Building shooting and the death of Stephen Ercolino, stay with recordonline.com 24/7 and get more detail on today's stories and more in tomorrow's Times-Herald Record. And that's Record Newswatch for today. Tracy is back Monday. This is Timothy Malcolm. Have a great weekend.